A promised land. Page 8. They thought about work. My grandmother was vice president of escrow at one of the local banks. My grandfather a life insurance salesman and paying the bills, and the small diversions that life had to offer. And anyway, they lived on Oahu, where nothing seemed that urgent. After years spent in places as disparate as Oklahoma, Texas, and Washington State, they'd finally moved to Hawaii in 1960, year after its statehood was established. A big ocean now separated them from riots and protests and other such things. The only political conversation I can recall my grandparents having while I was growing up had to do with a beachside bar, Gramps' favorite watering hole in order to renovate the beachfront at the far end of Waikiki. Gramps never forgave him for it. My mother, in Dunham, was different, full of strong opinions. My grandparents' only child, she rebelled against convention in high school, reading beatnik poets and French existentialists. Joyriding with a friend to San Francisco for days without telling anyone. As a kid, I'd hear from her about civil rights marches, and why the Vietnam War was a misguided disaster, about the women's movement, yes on equal pay, as keen on not shaving her legs, and the war on poverty. When we moved to Indonesia to live with my stepfather, she made sure to explain the sins of government corruption. It's just stealing, Barry, even if everyone appeared to be doing it. Later, during the summer, turned 12, when we went on a month-long family vacation traveling across the United States, she insisted we watch the Watergate hearings every night, providing her own running commentary. What do you expect from a McCarthyite? She didn't just focus on headlines either. Once, when she discovered I had been part of a group that was teasing a kid at school, she sat me down in front of her, lips pursed with disappointment.
You know, Barry.
She said that's the nickname she and my grandparents used for me when I was growing up, often shortened to Bar, pronounced Bear. There are people in the world who think only about themselves. They don't care what happens to other people so long as they get what they want. They put other people down to make themselves feel important. Then there are people who do the opposite, who are able to imagine how others must feel, and make sure that they don't do things that hurt people, she said.
So, looking me squarely in the eye, which kind of person do you want to be?
That's the end of the page 8. Press the next button or the next end screen for page 9.